And don't start the blab yet. Don't start the recording. We got to wait 10 minutes. Hi, everybody. Make us happy.
Good question.
So really, the hysterical laughs, I wonder if we could bring them down, tone them down. So they're just, it's an idea. It's just, we're talking about it. Anyway, let's roll with the blab for today. What really does make us happy?
Now that's a great question.
That is a great question. And really want to know that one, especially from your point of view.
Yeah.
And, and the viewers on here, jump on this, Richard, jump on the squares, have a conversation with us, get into, look at this, business, happiness, live, love, and laugh. Get on here and let's have a conversation. My friend, we certainly could use it. But Stephen,
okay, so what really makes us happy? Okay, so the thing to think about is, what do you think about yourself? Because when we are loving us and loving ourselves, that is to me the very core of happiness. Now, we can talk about how we get to do that, but when we're loving ourselves, then we are feeling happy. Whether we're laughing or not, whether we're working or not, whether we're with others or not, when we are loving ourselves, then we are happy. And I think that that is the very core of happiness. But there's a few things that we want to know about loving ourselves that really, really matter. And these are things that we can do to make sure we keep on loving ourselves or learning to love ourselves better.
So learning to love ourselves, or that's a part of being happy. But sometimes that isn't always, we don't wake up in the morning and say, I love you, Robert.
Why not?
I mean, I know.
Why not?
But I don't. Well, I do go look in the mirror and laugh at myself a lot.
So that's good. What would happen if you woke up in the morning and said, I love you, Robert?
I think that's a beautiful thing. I honestly really do. And, I love you, Robert, but I love being happy, Robert. I think you've brought a whole nother level to the conversation, because people can actually recognize love is just, it's like a unit. Everybody says it, but hey, Robert, I get to be happy today. And that is my choice.
Exactly. All of that old self putting down and self-criticism, that it's just a pattern that we grew up with. It's just a part of the emotional jail. There's no truth in that.
But many people say there's no truth in happiness.
And they are wrong. And they would also say there's no truth in love.
They would probably say, some people have been in love, lost their love life, and now they're back out and have to, get to find another relationship that makes sense to them.
And they're depending on someone else to bring love to them. Why are they depending?
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, they're depending on someone else to bring love to them because they're not loving themselves. And this is why that it's really important to love yourself. Then you're not dependent on anybody else.
Well, I like what Lisa says here. I think people you love and lost have all taught us
really
life
believe
lessons.
that. I do think that is the case. Like, when you break up with somebody, then there's a reason for that.
And it can be a death, and it can be just a literal breakup.
Yeah, it can be either way. So, there are people who lose a spouse who feel nothing but gratitude for the time they had together. And there are people who spend their whole lives feeling that they've lost the only thing that had any meaning for them. So this is the power of personal choice.
Wow. So it is the power of personal choice.
Am I going to look at the back in the past, or am I going to look forward with gratitude for what has already happened and what I've learned from it? See, happiness exists in the present when we are focused on what we want. And what we want is always in the future. Well, not always in the future, because we get it. But most of the things that we want more of, and growth is innate to loving, innate to humanity, because it's innate to nature. You know, it's all about growing yourself as a person. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of loss is a false idea. It's an abundant universe. Mm. There is no loss. Like if we lose a person, let's say we have a spouse who dies, then in one way, we have lost them. But in another way, we have not. Because we still have them in our heart. We still have them in our mind. We can call them up in our mind and we can have a conversation with them and they will answer us. It's a real conversation. But the good of it is.
Yeah. I do all the time.
So there you go, right? And you can have that conversation and it's without all the drama of the negative side. So it's actually a gain.
It is. That simple lesson is a gain, because I do have, my mom died, and I have, for the last couple of years, I've always, she got buried by this man that's in the cemetery. His last name was her grandfather's name, Alan, which is who was buried there. So, yeah, so I'm having conversations with my mother without all the drama.
So isn't that amazing? Because at that level, it is amazing. Souls are all about love. So what I think is that when we speak to somebody in our mind, it's at the soul level. And so
I get that
there's no drama there. It's all about niceness. It's only when we're recalling that past drama, that past, what do you want to call it? Misery or whatever kind of suffering you lived through. Yeah.
Had gone through.
It's only when you go back to that in your mind that you suffer again and again and again. So it's living in the past that causes suffering. There's almost never suffering in the present. Suffering in the present is very transitory. And there's only suffering in the future if we project it that way. The future is whatever we project. So if you're in the present,
so
having a conversation with another soul, there's no drama. There's no suffering.
Wow. Yeah. Well, then, that is true. That is true. That there is no suffering because the soul is the soul, and there is no conversation going on. So when we have that conversation, we bring in that drama, and if we choose, we can choose that history, and it's a tough history to. We all have had problems in our past, so the quicker we forget about our past and not associate with that, we bring more presence to ourselves.
That's true, but I would add one small addition. It's not I'm not even sure that it's actually possible to forget the past. But what I like to think about is resolving the hurts of the past. Because every hurt, every negativity is really about a piece of wisdom. There's always, like, I love it when negativity happens to be now, because there's always something to learn from it. This is
right.
I believe that this is the
Right.
positive purpose of negativity, is to be our signpost to our next level of learning. So how did I attract this negativity? If I attracted this negativity, then there must be something in me that resonates with that. So that's my opportunity to gain some new wisdom, to find some higher truth, and to live that higher truth.
Sure. So when we live that higher, it's a distinction that we have to make when we wake up in the morning. We go back to that very first thing, what you said, and we can choose to think about yesterday's issues, or we can think about 2 and 10 years ago's issues. But we don't have the right to we have the right to bring the past into the present, or stick with the present, love ourselves in there, and think about one eye on the future.
We can resolve the hurt of the past. So whatever that problem was in the past, whether it's a relationship issue, whether it's a money issue, whether it's a health issue, or whatever, we can wake up and we can think about how bad that was and how hard it is to do about everything. Or we can wake up and say, I love my life. What can I do today to make it work better, to make it go better, to make it be better? And then get to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're working on something that's meaningful to you, it feels great. And when you get something done that's meaningful to you, you get to feel great over and over again every time you think of it.
But it has to be something of an action taken, an appreciation for what you're doing in that day.
It's something you believe is meaningful. Oh, yes.
Huge.
Oh, yes.
That's huge right there.
What we're doing right now, I find this very meaningful. So I'm just loving it. And I'm going to feel good about it after it's done. And I'm going to feel good about it every time I think of it.
Yeah. Right. And it's huge. And it's very precious content that people, if understood, could live a more happier, more fulfilled life.
Exactly. Always, it's fulfilling. It's meaning. It's achievement. It's love. It's connection. These are all of the things that make us feel great about ourselves. So the thing to ask is not, will this thing make me feel good? The thing to ask is, will this thing make me feel good about me? So if I see a bunch of French fries and I say, well, those feel good. I love French fries. I'm going to eat all of them. But if I take that extra half a second and say, will this make me feel good about me? Then it's really easy to go, that ain't happening. I ain't doing that.
Right. Right.
I'll take a salad. Thank you very much. And that little twist is so important.
But that's the twist that most people will not stop for that split second.
They
recognize. So how? Yeah, they don't want to do it because it's like they still got their buzz going on from.
They don't have the awareness of it. Most people don't even have the awareness of it.
So being aware that you're choosing, let's say French fries versus a salad. is a split second.
It's 2 words about me.
What is it about me that would have me eat that salad so that I get the right nutrition for my mind? I will feel good, more energized, more potent, not power, more powerful, more vibrant, nice shiny skin, good conversations, just because of the salad versus the potatoes.
Yes. Yeah. So that is the thing. If I want to be loving me, I've got to feel good about me. So if I want to feel happy, I've got to feel good about me.
That's like I said, I think I called you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's interesting. Austin says, just be yourself and be content. You will be happy. Well, being content, just be content. Well, you're talking about being content with yourself. Sometimes we don't have, it's lack, okay, lack of money, lack of things that we want become an issue for us in our mind. So how do we bridge ourselves from our lack of being content? Because that's what takes it. Contentness doesn't allow us, when we are going after a goal, we have to take action, and sometimes taking action, there's all kinds of obstacles in our way. So how do we overcome
great
some of
question.
those?
So first of all, I'd like to talk about content. I'm not too keen on content. I'm not against it, but to me, content is a state. It has no action to it. It kind of says, I'm where I want to be feeling right now, and I'm going to stay there. So I like things that provide motion. I think they're really fundamental to living the happy life. And so complacent, that's a great word, Lisa. So what I like to think of is things that are satisfying. Things that are giving me fulfillment, or I'm achieving, or things like that. These are.
Oh, we know this one.
I'm hearing a background voice. Is that you? Ah, okay. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, the background was here. I'm just.
Welcome, pair. Yeah. So breathing is very important, because what breathing does is it stills the mind and body. If we breathe deeply, then we can reduce some of the chatter that's going on, the anxiety that might be going on, or things like that. So breathing is important. However, action, I think, is more important, and action in a good direction. So by taking action, then we feel really good. Like, I took action. I wrote this book. And by writing this book, I feel really good every time I see a good review on it, every time I hear that somebody has helped themselves with it, every time that I connect with somebody.
That's like I said, that's why I try to get a hold of it.
Every time I think about the awards I've been on it.
We don't want to turn around and be taking it. We want to make sure we're not. So no, we are.
That's huge, because when you can actually feel good about what you've accomplished, then you can get reinforcement, because
that's exactly right. It's an achievement. And I think achievement is underrated in our society.
You're saying that we need more achievement in order to be happy, and we need to recognize people that have achieved certain things in certain levels that would give us more happiness?
No, I'm not saying exactly that, because there are lots of people that have achieved much in the material world who are not happy. However, what I am saying is when we achieve something on our meaningful, purposeful path, then we are feeling great. So when we're out there really helping people, making a real difference for them, then that feels really good. If we make a fortune putting people down, I don't think that feels very good.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you don't feel. Yeah, you wouldn't feel very good because they'll start coming out.
Yeah, but if you just eke out a living helping people, and I think then that feels like you're wealthy.
Yeah, so there's a distinction there when someone. What did Austin say? A lot of poor people are very happy within themselves. Each and every one has their level of happiness, of course.
Yes, that's right.
Because it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find
because they would actually have a feeling of satisfaction, like of they're wealthy because they know that they're giving in some form or another that really is beneficial to their soul, and not having to, just because the rich people are rich, they don't have to go out and buy that big Mercedes or something like that in order to feel rich. They know that they're rich within themselves.
One of the big things that keeps people in that situation happy is the sense of community, because they have to work together. Because none of them can do it on their own. And so they're always working together. And that sense of community is their big contributor to happiness.
Good point.
That's
yeah, very, very, very.
Like the biggest contributor to happiness on a world scale is a sense of community and shared celebration.
So can we actually shift that in society, or are we still going to be driven by the money?
The money doesn't bring or steal happiness. It's what we can do with the money and what we do to get the money that drives it.
So there's an interesting comment that Lisa made. I've been well off and now I'm poor, or for now, I'm finding more happiness being poor.
Yeah, you're not the only person to say that. I saw a movie a while ago, and the director of the movie. What was it called? The Mask.
Oh, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. So the director of that movie, he made a lot of money with Jim Carrey. And so he had, I'm going to say $100 million. I don't really know. But he bought a huge house. He did a movie on this. He bought a huge house. He was flying around in private jets, and he was traveling all over the world and thought he had the life of Riley. And he said, when I walked in that big house, he said, I didn't feel the great happiness I thought I would. And so he started to question everything, and he got really, really unhappy. And as he got really, really unhappy, he got really sick. And so the doctors gave him like a year to live. And he said, well, if I'm going to do this, what am I going to do with this year? I'm going to answer this one big question. Is what is the single biggest problem in the world? And so he started to go around and interview all these people. And because he still had a bunch of money, he could, he had access. And he did all this. And what he found out is the single biggest problem in the world is me. I am. So then he said, I had another question then. He said, what is the biggest solution in the world? And the answer to that is I am. So it's all up to us. We can be the solution or we can be the problem. And the money is not it. He sold his big house. He stopped flying in private jets. He started riding his bike. He bought a little house in a trailer park. And he's happy as a clam living there, he says. He's got more than enough money. He gives all kinds to charity. And he's just connecting with people and exercising and having a great time. He's happy.
And he's happy.
Yeah.
And he's not going to, and he probably won't die at the end of the year.
He's healthy again. Exactly. Yeah. So this is the point, right? You have the devil and the angel in your soul. Yes, absolutely. And it just depends on which one you feed. Because we've all done bad and we've all done good. And we get to decide which one we feed. Personally, I'm feeding the good.
That's a really good point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Feel the good. Feed the good. Yes. Feed the good and then feel the good.
Yeah, that's the powerful point.
It's true. Because what we do and how we feel is intricately linked. When we do good, we feel good. When we do bad, we feel bad. And people don't notice that. Mm-hmm. So it's so simple when we wake up to it. It's a little bit of work to implement it and to live it. But as we do that, then everything starts to really smile on us.
The simplest things do.
Exactly. We smile on them.
So that's the power in that. So the power, it all comes back right on us. We can turn it around. We can say what we don't have. We can have all our addictions, and we are loving those addictions because we love those addictions.
Well, what we can do is we can accept ourselves the way we are. So I accept me and any addictions and any problems that I am or that I have. And I give myself permission to grow beyond them. So then I don't think about them anymore. I think, how do I want to be? I let go of those old ideas. Okay, that was me. I accept that. And I give myself permission to grow ahead in this way. So what am I going to be instead? I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be connected to positive people. I'm going to achieve. I'm going to do whatever you think is good.
So Lisa's saying, I don't know about mindful breathing. So there is a way to describe mindful breathing, isn't there, Stephen?
Yeah. So mindful breathing is breathing deeply and focusing on it. So remembering that focus is single purpose.
I just did a mindful breathing.
And it's easy to do a mindful breath. But mindful breathing full-time is challenging. It's a habit that you want to build. And breathing is tremendously important to how we live and how we function. So I buy into Austin's point that breathing is really, really helpful. Personally speaking, I think breathing is extremely useful and insufficient in itself. However, I do believe that like love or happiness, it can be the springboard to doing greater things. Very good. Very good.
Well, if we're
thank you.
Most yeah. Oh yeah, 10 times. What did he do now? 10 times at all.
Right hand on your heart.
Yes.
Close your eyes. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. I thought it was in through your nose and out through your mouth. 10 times. And that's all you need to do every day. That's what he said. Shall we do it?
Well, the truth is, I do that. I do the breathing. I do it in the morning when it's kind of the quietest. But there's lots of little things but you breathe in in that love. You're breathing in the appreciation for who you are, and it does fill you up. It's like the most magnificent feeling of love you can possibly have, and yeah, so I'd like that.
Yeah. So breathing is important. There's no doubt about it. And the deeper you can breathe, the better things work, the better you work. So that is a great idea. And like I said before, I think we don't take that on its own, but take it for what it can do to propel us forward on our purpose.
So, and Lisa says here, no smoking.
Yep.
Well, that's the purpose of cigarettes, to breathe deep, isn't it? A lot of times. If you want to release your stale energy, then breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth 10 times.
Out through the nose.
Breathe in and out through. It is an old yoga trick. It's not old. It's been around for thousands of years.
Hello, Christian. Welcome. So,
hey, Kim. Nice for you to be here too. Thank
very
you.
Very good. 2,500 years old.
Yeah, it is 2,500 years old.
That's just a little bit older than me.
I would have to agree. It's just a little bit.
Hey, and there's Claudia. Welcome, Claudia. Good. Okay, so if we want to be happy, like we said in the beginning, you want to love yourself. If you want to love yourself, then it's important to do good. So it's important to treat yourself well. It's important to achieve things that are meaningful to you. And it's important to connect with people. So these things are the things that really work. So, feel grateful for who you are. Let go of the criticism, the self-criticism. Imagine how it'll feel when you're truly loving who you are. When you're thankful and grateful for everything and everybody around you. And when you are doing what's most meaningful to you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Lisa's saying it's not selfish to be selfish in a positive way. That's pretty profound.
Yes,
what
it
you
is.
Just said there.
See,
actually,
we tend to think of putting ourselves first is not good in some way. So I don't talk about it that way. What I say is ensure we do self-care or self-love. Because when we do that, we build ourselves into something better. You can imagine that if you give everything away, then you have nothing left to give. And the same is true of us. If we give all of ourself away, we deplete our resources, then we have nothing left to give. But if we spend a little time each morning on self-love and self-care, we do a little exercise, we drink a little water, we do a little meditation, we produce a little bit of stuff, and maybe we do a little positive reading. And when we do this, then you are ready to give more during the day. Whereas if you just drag yourself out of bed and you feed the kids and you clean the house and you rush off to work and you're on the public transit preparing for work, and you get to work and it's go, and you eat on the run, and you work until, oh my God, I got to get home, I got to pick up the kids, and you're rushing back, and you bring some work with you to finish it up on the transit. And then you get the kids and you put them to bed, and at the end of the day you go, oh, I'm beat. And no wonder you are beat. because you didn't give yourself anything. You gave to everybody else, but not to you. And so everybody else is following your example. They're giving to everybody else and not to you. Because we teach others to treat us the way they do by our behavior. So
that's true.
That used to be me. Yeah, I believe you. That's very common. It used to be me too, actually. So it's really important to give to ourselves for two reasons. One is that keeps us healthy and happy. The other one is that it allows us to keep on giving in a sustainable way.
Wow. That means in a sustainable way, that means that we can constantly give our good vibes, our good relationships and feelings across. Hey, thanks for joining us, Heather. But and that's really a positive feeling that can happen every day, and more so some days because we're consistently doing it in our first routine in the morning, is filling our tank up and being able to overflow that message.
When you go on a road trip, you don't fill your tank up at the end. You fill your tank up before you go.
I know.
It works the same for you.
Well,
yeah, I'm going to drive 500 miles and then I'm going to fill up my car. Well, for yourself.
God, it's the same analogy as the airline things. That's why the people tell them to put on the mask on you first before you're a child, and that's like,
it's the same way for you running through your day. Every day is a journey, and on your journey, fill up your own tank first. Damn it! Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here too, Kim. Really awesome to have you here as well. Jump on. There's a couple of squares open here. We've got about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to bring Kevin on, and I'll stop the recording so everybody knows. And yeah. So, but I really like the idea that filling up that tank in the morning, giving yourself that opportunity to really love yourself, and it can be so subtle, nobody has to know about it. It doesn't have to be a big announcement. It can be something of just a common routine, but it does make you feel better. You can feel it coming in, breathing into it through your nose, into your heart, and expanding that heart muscle, like he said 10 times. I like that, what Austin said. I think it's really powerful.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
There is
very good.
A question here. Do you guys have kids? I have 3 children that are now young adults.
I have 2. Yes, I have 2 children. They're in their teens.
And I can tell you that when my kids were adolescents, that was my unhappiest time. There is no doubt about that. And it was that unhappiness that drove me to really turn my own way of living around. And that has allowed me to become the happy person again, and even more productive than I used to be. So there's Jody talking about Kinder Foster, talking about the joy of the Lord makes you happy. For me, it was actually the opposite way around. It was getting happy connected me to spirituality. But I agree with you that I think there's a lot of joy in spirituality. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's true. You see, Lisa's got a 30-year-old. Everyone's got their own journey, and that's really remarkable. How we can set it up and influence those people, especially the ones that are in school right now, actually bringing that happiness into the household and into their lives, just because we get to breathe in 10 times that happiness and exhale 10 times our diseased energy out, and filling ourselves up with the gratitude and appreciation. That's so cool.
That's a really good point, cool. Actually, because everybody does have their own journey, and every journey has challenges. The real question is, what do we do with those challenges? Do we let them beat us down? Do we let them define us? Or do we let them design us into their victors?
Well, I really think, you talk about that critical age between 5 and 7 years old. And actually, if I was ever to have kids again, I'd have super babies.
That's the truth. And you make your biggest mistakes with your first child.
With my first two, I made the biggest ones. If I was to have kids again, I could do it all over a different way and actually program the happiness into that infant. It's all about practice. It's all about programming.
Exactly right. You're exactly right. It's much easier to do it on the front end than it is on the back end. But I'm dealing with some of the back end because of all the mistakes I made. So that's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it except learn from it, forgive, and move on.
That's true. That's the only way you can. And that's the power in that. So
how do we get to know all this stuff? We get to know all this stuff by living it.
Don't we all? So that gives us the opportunity to come back and do a show like this and have the deep understanding that just breathing can make your life a lot better every day, or just taking echinacea or something of a health supplement that would shift your life. That makes a big difference on how we relate to ourselves, especially. And the more we love ourselves, the more we can express. So thank you for that, Stephen.
You're very welcome. It's been my extreme pleasure. The more we help ourselves, the more we feel good about us, the better we're going to feel and the better we're going to perform.
I really like this Happy City initiative that you started. It's really a powerful thing. So I think that the gifts and the rewards, you've got some movement going here, and the Blab shows are a part of it, but you really are on the grassroots doing it inside of a city, and actually doing in practical hands-on experience makes a huge difference. So kudos to you. So I want to share some recognition to the work that you have done, Stephen, as bringing that awareness to people and bringing that feeling of gratitude. And they feel it because they're noticing you and they get elected. And those officials appreciate what you've brought to the table. So thanks. I can't wait to get that on video and start spreading it around the world. Sure, it sounds like a fun thing to do.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Robert. It truly is my joy to be doing this work.
Well, really, really, really good. So we're going to stop recording this Blab, but I would like to have Kevin come on and thank you, Lisa. And we're gonna have a conversation around how to sound better. So we're cutting off the happiness part of it right now, but we're going to bring on how we can actually technically be better at speaking on Blabs and converting them into podcasts and different things like that. And there's a couple of people here that could really help us with that. And please jump on. And so we're I'm going to shut down the recording.
See you, Kevin. What do we talk about?
I really appreciate
in Bristol is